All right, welcome everybody. This is the Next Big Rush, and I am here today with a very special CEO with a ridiculous track record. I am here with Brian Slesarchuk of Fosterville South, and he's going to tell us all about the company, but most importantly, what is happening right now with a new project that they've just signed on. Brian, welcome to the show.
Fabi, thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. So tell us a little bit about the company. You know, when I am looking at different options and I'm looking at different companies, and there are a lot of different options in the junior mining space, as I'm sure you're well aware of. It's very difficult for us to filter, you know, like what's good, what's bad, who are the real players in the business and who are just the people who are, you know, out there collecting checks, as we like to say it. You seem to have a track record that's very unique. And I'd like you to tell us, you know, about the company and what you guys are up to. But most importantly, for me, at least, selfishly in this interview, I would like you to tell me about the people behind the company, if you will, please.
Sure, absolutely, Fabi. And I think that those hit on the key points that any investor should look at when they're looking at a potential investment, a potential speculation, is look at the team, look at the track record, see what individual members of the team have done, see what the members have done collectively in the past. And I think that the quality of our team, the quality of our management team, technical team, and board of directors really speaks for itself. And I'll walk through a bit of that background, of course. Other than the team, the first things that I look for when I'm looking at investments, team, share structure, a balance sheet, and of course, the projects that underlie the company's value. And I think that at Fosterville South, we have something that's really compelling with all of those aspects of success concurrently. I'm the CEO of the company. I was co-founder and former president of K92 Mining. And K92 started off as a microcap situation in Papua New Guinea. We purchased an asset from Barrick Gold. We initially put $2 million up front to acquire that asset, with some subsequent payments down the road that have been made. That company now has in the neighborhood of 1,600 employees. It's a rapidly growing producer and exploration company in PNG. It's moving up to 13 drill rigs this year, so very aggressive exploration. And from those early microcap days, the company has recently touched a market cap in the $2 billion range. So it's been a real success for early investors, but also it's been a great success in Papua New Guinea for the communities, for the various stakeholders, for the country itself. And that's part of the reason that we're just so excited to be back in Papua New Guinea with Fosterville South. On the team, and I think that bit of background is a good segue to talk about some of the team members. We have on our board of directors John Lewins, who's the current CEO of K92 and has just done an amazing job in Papua New Guinea for the benefit, again, of all stakeholders, growing K92 to the level it's at today. And most importantly, I think where it's going, there's only growth in K92's future. We have a great geologist on our team who's the chief operating officer, Rex Motton. Rex has worked all over the Australasia region. He's based in Australia. He's actually based a close drive away from our Victorian gold assets in the Fosterville area. The team that we are interacting with on this transaction in PNG includes, again, a great group of geologists, notably from our side in terms of past relationships and current relationships. Chris Muller, who's executive vice president of K92, is on the board of the private co that we're acquiring in PNG through this large transaction just announced.
Interesting. So walk us through what's just been announced. There's a deal in Papua New Guinea, just as you said. It sounds like you're getting the gang back together, and trying to do something amazing there. So what are some of the details? How large is this package? What's its location, and why is it interesting to what you've been able to have as a success under your belt before?
Sure. PNG, as many people will realize, is really one of the world's great environments for geology. And PNG is called the land of giants in the industry just because of the number of big tier 1 discoveries that have been made in the country. And one of the things, if you look at K92 as an example, is that they built this great company on the back of production and exploration success and expansion success within this high-grade epithermal vein system. But there are also big porphyry targets, and the porphyry targets within K92's land package are the reason that Barrick Gold, for example, owned that project in the first place. K92 has built a great foundation with these epithermal veins, Cora, Judd, other veins nearby that are parallel, sub-parallel, etc. And expansion continues there. But the company's also now testing some of these huge porphyry targets. And in fact, has had some very good initial success on one of those porphyry targets and is now drilling a very high priority target. Well, what we've done with Fosterville South with FSX is we've acquired ground in that area that adjoins, that's contiguous with K92, that's part of, we believe, that same geological environment. We've acquired as part of this transaction, which includes a number of exploration licenses, exploration license applications. We've acquired 600 square kilometers to the southeast of the K92 tenements. And within that same type of geological environment, we've acquired 130 square kilometers to the northwest of the K92 tenements. In fact, one of the best targets on that project is just 10 kilometers away from K92's mining operation. Outside of that area within PNG, we've also acquired a project that has real potential. It operated as a small open pit operation between 2007 and 2011. Very little has been done in the past 10 to 15 years. We think that it has big exploration potential for, again, porphyry style mineralization, other styles of mineralization. And that project isn't in the K92 vicinity, but combined, when you put the projects all together, all of the ELs and ELAs, you're looking at a massive 2,100 square kilometer land package within this country. And the country, again, is not only a place that has produced incredible mines with incredible grade, huge size, but it's a country that we're very familiar operating within.
It's very interesting because, where many have tried but failed, you guys go in there and you're able to succeed, not just obviously geologically, but also just socially and politically, which I guess, speaks a lot to the quality of the team and the decisions that have been made. So that's awesome. And I'm partly speaking as an investor who sat on the sidelines and watched the price of K92 go up and up and up and up and never actually got in. So in a sense, it's really exciting to me personally, when I see what could potentially be the little brother or the little cousin to K92 and have the same team that's done it before come and join forces to work that ground. So I guess from that, because, you guys have different projects, Australia, Papua New Guinea, what is the focus, right? Because what I'm looking at is that this ground that you have is really prospective. It's really interesting. Is this a complete shift? Are you going to drop what you're doing in Australia, or are you going to continue and work the ground?
Sure, it's a good question. And we've got within Australia, within Victoria, Australia specifically, a really incredible land package. And we have thousands of square kilometers there, highly prospective geology, but it is exploration. And Rex Motton, again, geologist who's worked all over the world, but is from that Fosterville area, lives, as I mentioned, a short drive away from the Fosterville mine itself. Rex has done a great job over a long period of time prior to the formation of FSX of understanding that district. And as an early mover, he was able to pick up key pieces of land throughout Victoria, including land contiguous with Anico's Fosterville mine. And we think it's highly prospective, and we're not losing sight or losing focus of that. The fact is that exploration in that part of the world, you're looking for very high grade deposits. Spatially, they're not always large. They don't need to be large to contain a lot of ounces of gold. When you look how long it took to find the Swan Zone at the Fosterville mine itself, you understand that it takes time in that part of the world to do the right science, to execute well. And Rex and his team will continue to do that and quietly advance those projects. And we've had a lot of interest in those projects since inception, and we'll keep marching those projects forward through good technical work. Because the Papua New Guinea situation is new, because of our track record in PNG, because of the team around it, and because of the fact K92 created so much shareholder value around the world, I think there'll be a lot of focus from the market on PNG and our opportunities there. And look, exploration, as we all know, is speculative. There's risk involved in exploration. But one of the things that sets us apart, I think, is our cash position. For a company with only 68 million shares out, roughly, no warrants. So there's no warrant overhang on this, 68 million shares out. We have in the neighborhood of $15 million in cash. And the private co that we're acquiring has in the neighborhood of 1.5 million in cash. And that's left over after they've done a lot of good work in the field developing targets over the past 2 years. So with all of the work they've done in PNG, developing great targets, these are a number of drill ready targets. And again, in great geology that we understand, we've got the opportunity to go in there and explore and test these targets. Some of the targets are very advanced stage, some are grassroots. It's a great blend of targets within this 2,100 square kilometers. The nice thing is that as we have success on the ground, if we're blessed with success via the drill bit, people will know that they need to buy shares in the open market if they want exposure to this, because the company with 15 million in cash is in no rush and has no need to go out and raise funds. And I think that that tight share structure combined with that cash position, combined with this big opportunity, can really provide what we all look for in the junior market, which is torque, which is real potential for return. We all know there's risk in the sector. I like to make sure that if we take on the risk, the blue sky, the big upside is big enough. And when people were buying K92 at 50 cents, at 40 cents, at 70 cents, before the shares traded to $10, of course they were taking on risk, and that project was de-risked along the way through drilling. But the upside was big enough that I think for a lot of people, taking that risk was justified.
Very good. I completely agree. And you just mentioned something interesting. So you have about 15 million in the bank. You don't currently need to raise. How far do you think that could get you? I mean, what's the expectation moving forward for investors regarding news and maybe a drilling campaign? What's on the horizon right now?
Sure. So based on our current budget on the ground, we have an incredible amount of runway. So Could we make that capital, make that cash position last for 3, 4, 5 years? For sure. What I hope is that we have early success and we start to ramp up an exploration spend that might be in the $3 to $4 million range over the next year and move it higher and higher. So we've got a lot of runway. We don't need to raise capital. We have a lot of cash in the bank, and really the plans on site will be largely dictated through the drill bit going forward over the next 6 to 12 months. And I think that it's important to realize, and people can take a look at the news release that we just put out, is that we have a real blend of target types here. We have an ELA, again, with past production, with mineralization there. We've got to go chase that down. We've got a slightly different interpretation on that mineralization than perhaps they did in the past. We've got a lot of geophysical work done, sampling work done. We've got drill ready targets, and they're at various stages with, as I mentioned, some very advanced stage targets, but also some real grassroots exploration following up on some incredible numbers in that early stage field work. And the team at WDR, the private company that we're acquiring through this transaction, did some great work in the field over the last couple of years. The company raised money from a select group of individuals. The fundraising efforts on their side were largely integrated with a firm that's institutionally focused. So you have a lot of smart money into that company at an early stage. They've done great work on the field. We've got a lot of drill targets. They're drill ready, and matching those assets and that good scientific work they've done to date with a company like FSX, good share structure, large cash position, experience in PNG, strong capital markets connections. I just think it's a perfect confluence of events here that sets up well. And where I think your viewers are in a good position here, Fabi, is that they're coming into something, they're taking a look at something early where we've just announced this news. We haven't been out there marketing in any sort of way on this. Over time now, over the next few weeks, over the next couple of months, as this story, as this opportunity disseminates more widely, it will get more and more attention. Especially, there's so much good news coming out of PNG. Newmont's bid for Newcrest. Newcrest, a big bulk of Newcrest is PNG focused. Their best growth asset is in PNG. Their best production asset is in PNG. A big chunk of their net asset value is in PNG. Well, Newcrest, that's only good news for PNG. The Porgera mine has got green lighted here to restart the Barrick venture. You've got Wafi Golpu that has just been green lighted, one of the world's great undeveloped situations. So there's a lot happening in PNG, not to mention K92's ongoing exploration success, expansion success, high margin production. All of that visibility, I think, bodes really well for FSX.
So really early stage, right place, right time, right people. I'm biased because obviously I'm a shareholder and FSX is a partner of the Next Big Rush. However, these are the things that really, really get me excited about a story. But most importantly, I do remember it's about the people, because at the end of the day, you need the people to want to do the right thing and to be capable of doing the right thing. And this team has definitely proved it. So where can people find out more about FSX, Brian?
Sure. We have the website, of course, fostervillesouth.com. This news is breaking news. It's just out, so that will be updated over time as we progress with this transaction in PNG on our CEDAR filings, of course. And we're going to start to get out and tell the story now. We just think we have a great opportunity, and we feel really blessed to be in PNG with FSX. Outside of mining, I've been fortunate to be involved in some sporting stuff, or youth and young adults in PNG. And it's a country that I care a lot about. And we're just really excited of the potential impact we can have there with this project over time. And people can find out more about us on the website and, of course, through CEDAR.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Brian. I will speak to you very soon when we start talking about next steps. And I'm sure there's going to be lots and lots of news, because from what I see in the different projects in the country, it just looks like a geologist's dream, right? You have just really, really high grade. People are out there, you know, trying to figure out what more there is in the ground. And so that's really, really exciting. Thank you so much for coming onto the show.
Thank you.